evening, everyone, and welcome to today's podcast. Today, we're joined by someone who has over 35 years of leadership experience in the corporate world and has a deep passion for filmmaking and storytelling. Having worked across operations, management, technology leadership, CSR, and workforce planning, he has a very unique perspective in both cinema and business. He's also a director, writer and producer who has worked on films such as Atreya, Attu America, Ittu India and many such creative projects, showing his versatility in the filmmaking industry. Today, we'll be focusing on his journey and experiences in filmmaking along with the business, creative and communication aspects in the filmmaking industry. I am really excited to explore his insights and learn from his experience. A very warm welcome to Shantikumar sir. Thank you for being here. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Firstly, I would like to start with your journey in filmmaking and what interested you towards it.
Well, I never thought I will be entering into the movie field in first place. Basically, I'm a stage artist. Right from my childhood, I acted in over 200 plus stage plays. So when I went to US for my masters and continued to work over there in US, the journey of dramatics continued over there as well. So one of the plays which I wrote and directed, which became very popular in tri-state area, New Jersey, New York area. So everyone was enjoyed it a lot, which was contemporary. Even till today, that is a contemporary subject. It's about IT education, H1B, etc. Everyone said like, why did you make it as a movie? So then we thought, okay, this is nice. So we made the movie, and fortunately, very first movie in 2001, which won the award, and I received award from Chandrababu Naidu as third best feature film. So that inspired, and everyone said, let's continue this journey. So we continued to make few other films, and my film journey started in that fashion.
That's interesting. When you first entered the industry, what is the biggest reality check that you face that people outside the industry usually don't see?
Okay. The biggest reality check for me is like in every aspect of the filmmaking. Okay. Not only outside people, I never knew that so much of work will be there behind the scenes. I knew story writing, right? But I didn't know much about screenplay. What is screenplay? I learned in the process of filmmaking to begin with as a writer. Then when it comes to the shooting part, so how is the frame is kept and what is the direction means, like even like kind of how the people dress and what is like kind of background will be there, and every aspect will be checked in the filmmaking when we shoot the film. Okay, that is one aspect of shooting part, right? The another side of it is post-production. Post-production is people never know, right? People will not be able to see it. So editing will be there, audiography will be there, background music will be there. So all these aspects people don't know. They know only the portion which we shoot that is integrated with the sound. So all these factors, it is called like kind of 24 crafts in film. So there will be 24 crafts will be there. All these 24 crafts together will makes 24 frames film. So this is what it is, which I have learned in my first film making itself. Prior to that, I never had a filmmaking experience at all. So all these things I learned when I was doing my first film. Fortunately, the very first film won the award, as I told you.
What is the movie's name? The first movie's
name? The first movie name is Attu America, Ittu India. This was shot completely in New York, New Jersey area.
Okay.
So it's a Telugu feature film. So all the actors, not all the actors, at least majority of the actors are like kind of people who are living in US, who were migrated from India to US. They were took part in acting, and very few people, like 4 people flew from India to US to act in that film. Otherwise, it was entirely shot in US, and it is for the audience of the US predominantly.
Okay, that is nice. You have over 38 plus years of experience in corporate world. How has that leadership experience influenced the way you approach filmmaking and storytelling?
Oh, it helped me in a great deal. You know what? Traditionally in filmmaking, they don't know much about how project planning is exactly. Right? They may have their own ways, but my industrial experience, corporate experience helped me in such a and everything I used to, entire editing of the film is done on paper first thing. And the entire the production activities like kind of short divisions and everything was done on paper. The next one is like kind of when we shoot the film. For example, we are planning for a shoot on a given day for a given scene, right? What if it rains on that day with an outdoor? So what is the backup plan? So immediately within the same vicinity, what can be a potentially we can shoot a scene so that we don't waste any time. So like that, the planning was done entirely in an IT project. How we do in a project planning, this similarly I used to do, and that's where when we planned for shoot, even for 1 month, we were ahead of schedule and we completed the entire shooting at least like a week before. So it happened continuously in almost every film. Honestly, I mean, this corporate world experience of project management helped me a great deal in filmmaking.
That's interesting. So in our college, we learnt about agile and waterfall project management systems. So it is very interesting that you use
Waterfall was like olden day, that's gone.
Yeah,
It's completely agile now. So agile is nothing but mini waterfalls, you can say.
Yes.
So you can just dissect a big waterfall into small waterfalls, which is nothing but an agile process. That's how we execute. But in filmmaking, it doesn't go like that, right? We cannot like break it into modules.
Right.
It's a continuous film show. So of course, we shoot every scene in a different day or a kind of what happens like when we shoot the film. Within the same location, we complete all the scenes. It doesn't go in a sequential manner. So filmmaking has its own way of working, optimal way of working, I would say. So that we follow.
So a film director has to manage technicians, actors and audiences well, all at the same time.
Correct.
So over there, how important is communication and leadership?
Film director is called captain of the ship. Okay, so he manages all the crafts of the film. So definitely communication is utmost important. So he will have kind of his own direction departmental people will be there. Along with that one, a production manager. Okay, he is the person who executive producer, I would say, executive producer and production manager. These two are key roles in filmmaking. Continuously, these people will have an interaction with the director, who will facilitate the director with all other crafts to be done as per his vision. Okay, so definitely he cannot talk to all the people at once, right? So he will talk to all those people. So through these roles like production manager, executive producer, and of course direction staff will be there for some directorial stuff. But otherwise, yes, he will talk to the all crafts of the people through production manager, I would say predominantly, and the executive producer.
So how difficult is it for directors such as yourself with meaningful stories to find producers and funding?
It's toughest thing, I would say, right? Fortunately, what happened in my case is like I myself was the writer as well as the producer and director, so that problem didn't arise for me at all. Of course, there were a few other producers, but they always loved my writings, and so it was easy for them to convince them to buy into my story. That was easy, but for other people, it is a very challenging thing. For multiple reasons, story can be great, but a producer who is investing his money should have the similar taste, okay, and whatever his ideology should resemble to this film or whatever he thinks, at least like business point of view. See, most of the people look for money, right, for business reasons, right? So when you are making a film, obviously it need to be at least break even, if not makes greater money, bring the profits. So for that reason, what they do is producers looking to do business aspects as well into the story. So if writer can balance all these aspects, nice messages, whatever is comedy and business aspects into the film, then it will be easy to convince others. Otherwise, it is very difficult. And again, as I said, it has ideologies of the producer as well as the writer should match. Then only it will work well.
People often see films as an art form, but it is also about the business.
Mhm.
So how do you personally balance creativity with commercial expectations?
I would say it is, yes, commercial element is required definitely, because at the end of the day you should make money, right? Even if you're not making the profit, at least it should break even, as I said before.
Yes.
So definitely commerciality aspect should be there in the film. So when people get connected with the film, commercial means, don't get me wrong, it not necessarily fights, not necessarily songs and all these things. Commerciality means like when people can relate themselves in the film, or people can be entertained by that film, all these things comes under commercial aspects. So as long as you maintain that, then it's definitely accepted by people. But here the next question is, even though film may possess all these aspects, unless you market it so that it will reach to the people, people will not come to theatre. That itself is going to be a big and the challenging factor. How to bring audience to the theatre.
Yes.
So in order for a movie to become successful, there are multiple elements will be there. One, as you said, like right story. It's all begin with story, right screenplay, direction, everything, commercial aspects, and last but not least, it is going to be the market of the film is also very much essential. So it is reached to the audience.
Yes. We see that there are many films that did not receive the appreciation and the success that it deserves to.
Exactly. Marketing is the key element. Marketing is one aspect. There are multiple elements, right? The timing of the film. When I say timings, for example, if you are releasing the film at the time of the examinations of the students, so who will go to the theatre? Mostly youth. So youth means students, college students, usually typically go to go and watch the film. If you are releasing the film exactly at the time of examinations, so obviously no matter how well you advertise, how well the story is, it doesn't matter, right?
Yes.
Probability of getting success are little less. So timing is also very crucial, I would say. So timing, marketing, story, every aspect we need to look into it for a successful film.
Yes. If you had limited budget for your film, where would you invest the most? Actors, script, marketing, or technology?
Okay, me being the writer, I will not invest any money in writing. My investment is not required for the script, obviously. Now coming to the other aspects, technology and actors. So technology also can be controlled with limited budget. Why I'm saying is, difference between very high-end camera and ordinary camera is kind of manageable, I would say. Okay, with proper lighting and taking enough precautions. People made even films using iPhone. So that means technology is okay, that's fine, still we can manage. But an actor who can generate the business is very important aspect. So if I have a limited budget, probably I would invest more on the actor side than on the technology or script.
How much has social media and OTT platforms changed the business side of films?
Completely changed. Okay, in other words, I would say like it transformed the whole business aspects of the film, right? If you see, when the digital movie came into the existence, that started to dominate the traditional film style making film. Earlier it used to be kind of, we used to shoot the film over the film. When the digital came into the picture, everything became digital, right? So once this transformation happened into digital, OTT platforms came into picture. With this aspect, the traditional theatres got impacted a lot. Even movie business also got impacted a lot. So it changed the whole dynamics of the filmmaking as well as the release of the film as well. Nowadays people are saying, okay, let it come to OTT, we'll watch there. What is the big deal? Why need to go rush and watch the film in theatre? So that's how the business also came down drastically. Movie goers to the theatres became very less after this OTT platforms and social media came into the picture. So that's how the release style also completely changed. Earlier there used to be 100-day films and all these things. Nowadays you don't see 100-day films at all. If it runs for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it's great. Okay, a lot of films run for a week and that's it. Then within 3 months it will appear in OTT platform. So definitely the social media as well as OTT platforms changing the whole dynamics of the film, filmmaking and film release and business and everything.
So where are you planning on putting your films now? OTT, theatre?
We need to change as per the what you call the trends, right?
Yes.
So definitely our focus is more on digital platforms. Even though we will release the films in theatres, but it's for a short span of time.
Yes.
We are banking more on OTT platforms and social media.
You audiences today value meaningful stories more than they used to before?
Absolutely, yes. So nowadays audience are like much, what do you call, I would say, changed in their way of pursuing the stories than before. So now audience are liking more meaningful stories than ever before, I would say. Earlier people used to like either action stories or romantic stories or kind of with what do you call huge settings and all these things. But the trend has changed completely. Audience became much more intelligent, I would say, or they maybe one of the reasons is like they have seen enough of the past films and now their change is required, right? Obviously now they are looking for more meaningful stories than ever before. So that is an encouragement for people like me a lot. So who strongly believe in meaningful stories than a kind of monotonous way of stories. This definitely a positive change. They are not looking for a big budget movies or anything like that. They are looking for a right story which can create an impact or which can be entertained in a meaningful way. So that's all they're looking for. So it's definitely a positive change and a good sign of change, I would say.
Do awards create meaningful opportunities for filmmakers?
Sometimes yes, but not necessarily all the time, I would say. Right? Awards will definitely inspire people to make more films, but not necessarily they will create enough revenue or business. So at times like award winning films are kind of, they will not fare well in terms of business, right? Again, due to several aspects, I would say. One of the thing is like commerciality of the film and other stuff. So it's all depends. It depends on the what aspect film. If it's an artistic film, I will say chance of business commercial success will be very less, but it may win several awards. But overall, to answer your question, do awards inspire people, create enough opportunities? We'll say sometimes yes, not necessarily all the time. So it all depends upon which aspect of the film is making it win an award.
Yes. So AI is becoming a big part of many industries these days.
Right.
How is it changing filmmaking, and do you see it as a boon or a bane for the creative aspect of filmmaking?
Good question, I would say, right? When technology is changing, AI came into picture very rapidly. It penetrated into almost every industry. So no exclusion for even film industry. Right? Now AI is generating its own songs. Okay, if you give a lyric, it will create number of tunes for that song. Or if you can ask for a particular, just give a bit of tune and it create the whole song. How to do that? Even it can create the pictures, it can create the images. Even if you can take your own picture and feed it, and so that it can generate your own, as if you are acting in the film, it can generate. So it penetrated into the industry so much, and very soon, maybe next few years, not more than 5 to 10 years at most, I would say, you are going to see the film industry completely generated by AI without any human intervention. Of course, human intervention is required for prompt engineering for sure. But if you know the prompt engineering, that will be enough probably to make or generate an entire film. So the day is not too far. Probably you are going to witness that day very soon. It's going to happen for sure. Is it a boom or not? Okay. Definitely it is going to create an impact on the industry people who are talented in certain way, and they may opportunities may become very less for them. Unfortunate, it may happen that way, but it is inevitable. When the times are changing, when the whole life cycle is changing, we are moving towards this artificial intelligence. These things are not in our control. It is inevitable. We have to go with the flow. We need to be there along with that one, and it will happen very soon. And probably you can give prompt engineering. You should know very well which type of story you want to tell, what is the message you want it to tell, and what are the different characters. All these things can, if you give enough information to the AI, it may create a movie for you.
Yes. What are a few lessons that filmmaking has taught you about business and life?
Well, it's a very good question, I would say. I learned several aspects, I would say, in this whole process of filmmaking. The first thing I would say is like kind of not only just a kind of writing a story, acting, leave these things aside. The first and foremost thing one has to look is why you want to make the film. Who is your target audience? And where you want to release the film. All these aspects makes a lot of difference in kind of making a film successful. Why I'm saying this is like, for example, when I made my first movie at America at India, I didn't know the importance of target audience. What I thought is only about the good story, and is my story is good, is my story is entertaining, is it giving a message? That's all I thought. But I totally ignored a fact unknowingly, the target audience. Who are my target audience? Because I shot the entire film in US, the jokes or the comedy elements that I put in film are related to US audience. But whereas the film was completely shot in Telugu and we released it in India. When we released the film, people could not relate to it at all because the type of the comic elements which will be more appropriate, more understood in a better way for the people who are living in US. So with that, what happened was people got totally confused. Kya hai film? What is this story? What? Why? They don't understand all these things. The first lesson I learned was like, who are my target audience? So where I am releasing the film. So is my story reflecting which time zone or which targeted audience it is intended for? All these things are very important when you are making the film. So this I would say the first question is keep your target audience as like first thing which I learned. Also why you are making the film. So that's also equally important. Are you making the film to entertain the people? Are you making the film to make the money? Are you making the film to give a message irrespective of the business outcome? All these questions one has to answer themselves, and depending upon which is going to get check mark as a kind of highest priority, the movie has to be in that way. Suppose if you are making a film to make money, obviously you need to have an element that will create a good business. It starts with good actors, good commercial elements, maybe kind of that entertains majority of the people, I would say. Okay, these elements you have to make sure are available in the film. Then only you can make a good business and good money. But if your intent is to make the film for a good message, rather I would say, over a period of time, it doesn't matter. It has to be revenue generating at once. Then probably your storytelling or your actors may not be required expensive actors which can generate the revenue, etc. You can go with normal actors, you can make the film in low budget, still you can release on digital platforms and you can achieve your intent over a period of time. So it's important. These are all several aspects which I learned in filmmaking, starting with who are my target audience and why I am making the film. All these aspects which I learned over a period of time.
That was very insightful. Thank you so much. What advice would you like to give students who are interested in entering creative fields such as filmmaking, who are afraid of uncertainty?
They are afraid of uncertainty, you would say. Why they are afraid of uncertainty? Of which aspect of the uncertainty?
The money and the risk of.
My answer would be the same as before. First of all, why you want to make the film? Okay, you want to make the film just because you are interested. You want to make the film because you want to make money. You want to turn it into a career. All these things one has to think themselves. Okay, why you want to make the film? Okay, so depending upon answer to your own question, so it varies. So the question of uncertainty in terms of budget means obviously you cannot go and afford for a big budget movie. But again, if you can find a good producer who can put the money and if you have the ability to produce a good story, that's fine. If you can go and convince. But all in all, what I would say is like gain some experience. So you have to go work practically in an industry. Maybe as if you are a writer, you can go as an assistant writer. If you are a director, you want to go work as an assistant director. If you are a producer, you want to go as a kind of executive producer, or you want to go production manager or production assistant even. So that you understand the whole process end to end. Once you have an understanding of the whole process, then you can have certain command different elements of the filmmaking. Then enter into the filmmaking. So without knowing all these things, what happens is then you will be experience everything upfront when you are making the film. So it can become a kind of very tough thing in terms of budgets, in terms of several aspects, timings and everything. So my suggestion for anyone who want to enter into this filmmaking business, they should have some practical experience. They should go and work under a producer, under a director or somebody. Observe the entire process, get involved yourself in every aspect, including the pre-production work, production work, post-production work, marketing and release. Every aspect you have to understand and then only come into this business.
So combining all of these aspects together, how is this applied in your upcoming film?
Yeah, as I said before, I learned a lot in this film process. So it took at least like 2 to 3 films for me to understand all aspects of the films thoroughly, because I never worked under anybody in the past, right? I learned it in a hard way.
Yeah.
So my latest film, 321, is about to get released sometime next month of June 2026. To answer your whatever the answers I gave to your question before, for example, I fixed the target audience. Who is my target audience? So who will go and watch the film in general? Typically youth. So the subject has to be related to youth. That is my first aspect I learned, right? So what I did was, like, this subject, what I took is love marriage versus arranged marriage. Definitely will be attractive for the youth. And there should be an element that should create some enthusiasm or curiosity in the audience point of view. So what I did was, when I said love marriage versus arranged marriages, obviously there's a conflict of opinion between parents as well as the youth. So it's an ever burning story all the time. So there will be curiosity will be automatically generated in the concept itself. My story title itself will have a tagline of love marriage versus arranged marriage. So with this, curiosity has been generated in the title itself. So when you are dealing with the subject that deals with the love story and which has a what you call conflicting opinion of love marriage versus arranged marriages, good portion of what you call the curiosity has been generated already.
Yes.
So when I applied this together and now to the story, screenplay and every element, so I ensured there is enough comic elements are there. I ensured enough the hook, when you start the movie, it has to be continuously engage the audience. So there should be a hook element, some curiosity element, some thriller element should be required. So thriller element also I kept in the movie. And again, actors is very important. As I said before, I ensured all the actors of the film are like kind of good people, so who can not take big named actors, but at the same time who has some name in the industry. So I went for those people who has experience in the filmmaking, who acted in the films. So I mobilized the entire team who has enough experience, who can narrate, who can tell my story successfully and present it on the screen. I ensured all those aspects, and now it came out very well, and we had a couple of previews and the feedback is amazing. So we had 3 previews, one in India and 2 in US, one in Arizona and another is in Virginia. The positive feedback has been generated is 98%, which is very, very positive and encouraging. So this is what experience means. So when you have this experience, you can put together everything in meaningful way, so that you don't run into the aspects of what you call fear factors. At the same time, fear factors about the business, release and all these things will be minimized. Still, I won't say it will be eliminated, but it will be minimized when you have an experience, when you put together all these elements together in making the film.
Yeah, that is very interesting. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your experiences and insights with us today. Thank you for taking your time to be here despite your busy schedule with all the releasing your upcoming film next. Until next time, this is Krishna Surabi signing off.
You are most welcome, Krishna. I wish you all the best for your project, and I can't wait to see the outcome of this podcast. Please do share me a copy. I'll be more than happy, and I'll share it with my friends as well. Wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.